I'm Marion, I'm retired.
Hi, Marion.
I'm now chief childminder to the family.
Okay.
I just want to say, if things are improving so much under the Tories, why are so many people using food banks?
Yeah. Do you want to respond to that?
Victoria?
Hang on. No, go on, Mark. Go ahead.
Okay. Can you hear me? I mean, like you said about food banks, also, like you said, you're the main child carer. This is what people have to do. If it weren't for our parents, like my children's grandparents, their grandparents, we wouldn't be surviving. If it wasn't for them, their help, you know, then you look after your kids, so you're looking after their grandchildren. So you are, you know, this is. This is the cost.
Some people think
we are subsidising it. Yes.
Life is really tough under the Conservatives.
And look, in terms of the food bank issue, and I've studied the Trussell Trust data, what they tend to find is the typical user of food bank is not someone that's languishing in poverty, it's someone who has a cash flow problem episodically. No, it's true. Well, that is what the Trussell Trust data says.
It's not what they say, Dominic.
It is.
I go to food banks all the time.
No.
The Trussell Trust would be outraged by you saying that.
They wouldn't.
Outraged.
And what we've done, because a lot of people on low and middle incomes are feeling the pinch, is we've taken 4 million of the lowest paid out of income tax altogether. The average basic rate taxpayer keeps £1,000 each year more than they did in 2010, and we've introduced the national living wage, and we're trying to make sure we've got the economy that creates the jobs and the wages, and make sure people keep more of the money they keep.
Just to clarify, Dominic, you're telling the country here in this programme that the Trussell Trust, who deal with poverty, told you personally that the problem with food banks wasn't people who are on the breadline, but people are having cash flow problems. I'm dying to hear from them when they hear that you've said that.
Can you just wait? What they do is they keep data that they update quarterly and then annually on the reason people are coming to their food banks, and that is what I'm citing.
Not my experience of food banks.
Well, go and read the data rather than shooting it off the...
There are even people in work using food banks because their salaries haven't increased.
Exactly.
People aren't able to save any money.
Exactly.
People are in crisis. People who are on low wages, people who are on benefits are actually having to use food banks. Do you think anybody in this country should have to use a food bank? We are the 6th richest country in the world. It's an absolute disgrace that anybody has to go to a food bank. And you sit there trying to convince us why people have to use them. It's a disgrace.
I can hear Emily Thornberry for Labour agreeing with the lady who's speaking right now. But the IFS, we've quoted them earlier, they also point out that if Labour were to win this general election, the poorest 30% of households will suffer a significant hit to their incomes because of cuts to benefits, many of which you are not promising to reverse.
We are going to raise the minimum wage to a proper living wage.
Are you going to reverse
so that those people,
cuts to child tax credits?
So those people who are in work and who are getting benefits as well will get a pay rise.
Are you going to reverse cuts to child tax credits?
We have got £2 billion each year over the 5-year period of a government.
Are you lifting the freeze on those working age benefits?
I am trying to answer you, Victoria, really I am.
I'm giving you specific cuts that the Conservatives are going to make, and I'm asking you, are you going to reverse them?
We have £2 billion set aside for each year over a 5-year period to reform the benefit system and to make sure that we stop cuts like we've talked about specifically the bedroom tax. You're getting rid of the bedroom tax, the benefits cap. And the reason that we've set this money aside is because we need to look again at the benefit system and the unfairness, the clear unfairness that we've heard talked about today. Nurses should not be going to food banks. People should not need to rely on food banks. As the lady behind me says, you know, we are one of the richest economies in the world. This is not right.
All right, Will Moy from Full Fact. What about the figures of people using food banks and the potential relation to those who are on benefits and who have been sanctioned?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's very hard to say in broad terms exactly why people are using food banks. Obviously, it's because they need food at the simplest level. There are about 1.2 million uses of food banks a year at the moment. That translates into people using it more than once. One of the things driving food bank use, according to research done, I think, by Oxford University, was that in areas where benefit sanctions go up, then food bank use goes up.
Yes.
When benefit sanctions go down, food bank use goes down. Now, that's not to say it's all about benefit sanctions. We don't have good evidence for that. We do have good evidence that that is part of the picture.
Okay.